As a black woman and someone being gunned down in our city, totally unacceptable. The apprehension of Mr. Brown, something that we absolutely celebrate. I do.
It happened Monday morning inside an apartment complex in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. A witness tells Eyewitness News Brown shot Jones in the back. She ran, then collapsed. That's when video circulating online shows a man walk up to Jones with a long gun, shooting her at least 2 more times. Family members of Jones say she and Brown used to date, and according to court records, there's a history of domestic abuse. Jones filed a petition for protection back in May, accusing Brown of multiple forms of abuse: physical, mental, financial, and sexual. In a written statement, Jones wrote Brown even tried to smother her with a pillow after an argument. The clerk of court says a temporary restraining order was never put in place because, for whatever reason, Jones never proceeded with it. She even worked in the office as a deputy clerk for the last year.
Rest assured, we will not rest until he's captured, justice is served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus.
He should never see the light of day again.
Animals don't do this. This is barbaric. This is unhuman behavior. It is pure evil to do something like that.
A man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in an execution-style murder is now in custody after a manhunt in Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Investigators say B.J. Brown shot a Tennessee police officer on Monday night.
Yeah, he was on the run after an alleged murder in New Orleans Monday morning. Erica Ferrando joining us now with an update.
Cassandra Jones, a 48-year-old mother and grandmother, steps out of her apartment complex on Iberville Street. She is dressed for work. She is heading to her job as a deputy clerk in Orleans Parish. The same job she showed up to faithfully, the same woman her friends described as outgoing, independent, and full of life. She is not running. She is not hiding. She is simply going to work, the way millions of people do every single morning without a second thought. But B.J. Brown is already there, waiting. What happens next in that parking lot is caught on camera. It goes viral, and it forces an entire country to confront a question that should make all of us deeply uncomfortable.
As a black woman and someone being gunned down in our city, totally unacceptable. The apprehension of Mr. Brown, something that we absolutely celebrate. I do.
A man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in an execution-style murder is now in custody after a manhunt in Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Sharice Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Investigators say B.J. Brown shot a Tennessee police officer on Monday night.
Yeah, he was on the run after an alleged murder in New Orleans Monday morning. Erica Ferrando joining us now with an update.
32-year-old B.J. Brown is in custody in Tennessee 2 days after allegedly killing his ex-girlfriend, 48-year-old Cassandra Jones.
She's just going to be really missed. My staff is numb.
Jones was shot in a Treme parking lot off Iberville Street around 9:30 Monday morning. Video shows a man with a long gun walk up to Jones and shoot her 2 more times.
What does it mean when a woman does everything she was told to do to stay safe, and it still is not enough? Cassandra had filed a restraining order against Brown just 53 days before he took her life. 53 days. She went to the courts. She put her name on record. She said, clearly and legally, this man is a danger to me. And he showed up anyway. This is not a story about a woman who did not see it coming. This is a story about a woman who saw it clearly and reached out for help and was still failed. So before we go any further into what happened that morning, I want to hear from you. Do you believe the system truly protects victims of domestic violence, or is it all just paperwork? Drop your answer in the comments right now, and let's talk about it.
Police identify the man in a gruesome video showing the execution-style killing of a woman in New Orleans. And tonight, he is wanted for shooting an officer in Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Kim Holden.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Police vow to find a man accused of killing a woman in New Orleans and shooting an officer outside of Nashville.
And tonight, we're learning more about the suspect, B.J. Brown's past. Caitlin Rust has the latest on the manhunt.
Animals don't do this. This is barbaric. This is unhuman behavior. It is pure evil to do something like that.
A horrific video circulating on social media shows the cold-blooded, broad daylight murder of 48-year-old First City Clerk of Court employee Cassandra Jones.
Everybody's just numb, because she was a team member, she was family.
Police say her killer is 32-year-old BJ Brown, who they obtained a second-degree murder warrant for. But just hours after they started looking for him, Brown had fled to Erin, Tennessee. That's where police say during a traffic stop, Brown got out of his vehicle and shot an officer, then ran off into the dense woods. The officer has non-life-threatening injuries. Jones's life was cut short, however. A mother of 2 children, described as a hard worker, trying to provide for her family. Austin Badon says Jones had domestic issues with Brown. Fox 8 has obtained a copy of the 25-page temporary restraining order Jones filed in May. It alleges Brown punched, choked, shoved, kicked, threatened, intimidated, and sexually abused her, along with mental, emotional, and financial abuse. It details an early morning incident, April 27th, around 3:30, when Brown allegedly came over and they began to fight. Jones says she told him to get out, and he hit her with a belt several times, bruising her. 911 was called, and Jones says Brown punched her and threw her to the ground, stomping on her. Once police arrived, she says Brown jumped off of her upstairs balcony to escape. After the officers left, she says he got back into her apartment where they continued to fight, and he tried to smother her with a pillow. She also alleged there was another occasion where she confronted him about cheating on her, and he punched her, knocking her teeth out. However, Jones never showed up to court to follow through with the restraining order.
We spoke about it. I gave her my full support. I encouraged her to go through with it, and I believe she decided not to go through with it.
I dug into Brown's lengthy criminal history spanning more than a decade across several parishes, mainly St. John, where he had been arrested more than 10 times over the past 10 years. Some of those charges include domestic abuse battery, but were dropped by the victim. Brown is considered armed and dangerous as law enforcement from several surrounding counties in Tennessee continues searching the rugged terrain.
It happened Monday morning inside an apartment complex in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. A witness tells Eyewitness News Brown shot Jones in the back. She ran, then collapsed. That's when video circulating online shows a man walk up to Jones with a long gun, shooting her at least 2 more times. Family members of Jones say she and Brown used to date, and according to court records, there's a history of domestic abuse. Jones filed a petition for protection back in May, accusing Brown of multiple forms of abuse: physical, mental, financial, and sexual. In a written statement, Jones wrote Brown even tried to smother her with a pillow after an argument. The clerk of court says a temporary restraining order was never put in place because, for whatever reason, Jones never proceeded with it. She even worked in the office as a deputy clerk for the last year.
New Orleans is known for crime, and domestic violence is kind of serious in our community.
Chris Davis lives near where the murder happened and is shaken by it.
It was just awful. It shouldn't happen. That type of stuff shouldn't happen in broad daylight in a normal community,
And it didn't end in that community. Brown is also linked to shooting an officer Monday night while on the run, 530 miles away near Erin, Tennessee, west of Nashville. That's where an emotional police chief, Mark Moore, says an officer tried to make a traffic stop only to be shot by Brown before he ran away.
Make no mistake whatsoever, this was an ambush on an officer.
Moore says that officer is expected to survive. This type of crime in New Orleans has activist Amir Baraka worried about the future of the city.
When a young man can walk with a machine gun, shoot a woman, and just walk around the apartment building, then come back and finish it off, that's bold. That's bold. He don't give a damn.
A bold move caught on video, now etched in the minds of the community. Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
Erin, Tennessee. Police are looking for a man who shot an officer there. This is in Houston County, about an hour and a half from Nashville. The Erin police chief just gave an update. Chief Mark Moore says the officer pulled over the suspect at a traffic stop on Highway 149. The suspect got out of his car and then refused to listen to the officer and get back in. That's when he shot at the officer. The officer will be okay, but police will not give up until they find the suspect.
Make no mistake whatsoever, this was an ambush on an officer. Rest assured, we will not rest until he's captured, justice is served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus.
So once the shootout ended, the suspect ran. Law enforcement from several agencies are in Aaron right now to help find that suspect.
Good evening, I'm Katie Moore.
And I'm Cherise Gibson. Tonight, the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in New Orleans and then driving to Tennessee, where he's accused of shooting a police officer, is in jail.
It all started on Monday morning on Iberville Street. Then police say B.J. Brown drove more than 500 miles to the town of Aaron, Tennessee, northwest of Nashville, where police there say he shot an officer. Brown was arrested this morning after a manhunt.
Well, Mike McDaniel looks more into Brown's past criminal history and asks why he was out of jail in tonight's top story.
Allegedly murdering his ex-girlfriend and shooting a Tennessee officer while on the run, the crimes linked to 32-year-old B.J. Brown are not exactly surprising to St. John Parish Sheriff Mike Treg.
He is a violent, habitual, repeat offender.
Treg says Brown has been arrested at least 15 times since 2010. Court documents show a history of charges, some violent, including pursuits, drugs, assault, robbery, injuring a police dog, and resisting an officer.
We've even had cases of domestic violence with him and the young lady that he murdered.
Monday's murder was caught on cell phone video. It shows a man walk up to 48-year-old Cassandra Jones outside a New Orleans apartment complex with what appears to be an assault. He shoots her multiple times.
He should never see the light of day again. And I wish we could have done something to prevent that from happening. Maybe could have been in jail. I don't know.
Court records show Brown's past charges in St. John Parish landed him in jail for only 94 days. Some charges were either not pursued or dropped by the victim, Cassandra Jones. The only pending charges involve a high-speed crash on River Road back in October.
He crashed into citizens who were injured, 3 adults and a child, where he basically totaled all vehicles.
Treg worries about a failure in the justice system, especially since Brown was on probation for drug charges at the time of the murder. Last month, Brown was sentenced to 2 years probation instead of 3 years in jail. 2 days later, Jones filed a restraining order for domestic violence against Brown in Orleans Parish. She was killed a month and a half later.
He definitely what I consider a violent criminal history and a person that definitely needs to be off the streets and probably should have been off the streets a long time ago.
On the run for 2 days, Brown was caught Wednesday morning in Houston County, Tennessee, near the town of Aaron. The handcuffs used were from the officer who Brown allegedly shot and injured during a traffic stop.
His gear probably had a little bit of blood on him, but I didn't wash him off because he had blood, this officer's blood on his hands anyway.
For Police Chief Mark Moore and his 6-man department, it's personal. Treg says the court system should expedite the case.
If you commit a crime and it's just undeniable and your guilt is obvious, this case should not take years to prosecute.
As a black woman and someone being gunned down in our city, totally unacceptable. The apprehension of Mr. Brown, something that we absolutely celebrate. I do.
A man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend in an execution-style murder is now in custody after a manhunt in Tennessee. Good evening, I'm Cherise Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. Investigators say B.J. Brown shot a Tennessee police officer on Monday night.
Yeah, he was on the run after an alleged murder in New Orleans Monday morning. Erica Ferrando joining us now with an update.
32-year-old B.J. Brown is in custody in Tennessee 2 days after allegedly killing his ex-girlfriend, 48-year-old Cassandra Jones.
She's just going to be really missed. My staff is numb.
Jones was shot in a Treme parking lot off Iberville Street around 9:30 Monday morning. Video shows a man with a long gun walk up to Jones and shoot her 2 more times. The mother of 3 was getting ready to go to work that morning as a deputy clerk in Orleans Parish. First City Court Clerk Austin Baton hired Jones about a year ago. He met her when she was seeking emergency rental assistance, but what she really wanted was a job, and he saw her potential.
We sat and we talked, and she had the attributes that I was looking for. She had the computer skills, she had people skills, and I saw somebody who was looking not for a handout. They wanted to work.
Jones' family said in a statement, Cassandra was a vibrant lady who was loved by many people. She had a personality that would definitely light up a room. Our hearts have been ripped apart. She meant the world to us. Her family said she and Brown used to date, and several months ago, Jones sat in Badon's office, letting him know she considered filing a restraining order against Brown.
I could see it in her eyes and hear it in her voice that she was afraid to leave and go home.
After Jones' murder Monday, police say Brown ran off to Tennessee, where he shot a police officer during a traffic stop in a rural town west of Nashville. That officer is expected to survive.
This is the first time we've experienced this within our department. We're a 6-man department.
Aaron Police Chief Mark Moore said Brown ran into the woods after the shooting. A 30-plus hour statewide manhunt led to Brown's arrest early Wednesday morning in Tennessee.
I'm overjoyed.
And I'm not surprised he would open fire on a police officer.
Brown is no stranger to St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff Mike Trigg. He says since 2010, his deputies have arrested Brown more than 15 times for crimes involving drugs, weapons, and high-speed pursuits.
We've even had cases of domestic violence with him and the young lady that he murdered.
Brown is in the Houston County Jail west of Nashville for attempted murder of a police officer. He also faces a second-degree murder charge in Jones' death.
And happening right now, the search continues for a man New Orleans police say shot and killed a woman on Iberville Street, then drove to Middle Tennessee, where police there say he shot a police officer.
It's a shocking case now that has gone across the state. Law enforcement officers all over the Southeast looking for the man that's on your screen right now. This is 32-year-old BJ Brown. Well, tonight we're learning more about the relationship Brown may have had with the woman he's accused of killing, Cassandra Jones.
Investigators say Brown shot and killed Jones around 9:30 yesterday morning. He then drove more than 500 miles to Erin, Tennessee. That's northwest of Nashville. And as Mike McDaniel explains in tonight's top story, court records point to past domestic abuse and a petition for protection that never happened.
Wanted for murder, New Orleans police are looking for 32-year-old BJ Brown, accused of killing a woman who family members identify as Cassandra Jones.
This was a black woman that was brutally gunned down, murdered.
We wouldn't rest until he was located and prosecuted and justice served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus.
And a WWL exclusive, we've confirmed a man accused of gunning down a New Orleans mom has died in a Tennessee prison. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sharice Gibson. Katie is off tonight. BJ Brown was serving time there for shooting a police officer. Paul Murphy reports Brown passed away before he could stand trial for crimes in New Orleans.
34-year-old BJ Brown died in a Tennessee prison where he was serving a life sentence for the attempted murder of a police officer. In June 2022, police say Brown killed his one-time girlfriend, Cassandra Jones, in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. According to a witness, Brown shot Jones in the back. Video showed a man carrying a long gun walk up to Jones, who was struggling on the ground, and shoot her 2 more times.
This very violent perpetrator took Miss Jones's life in a very brazen way. It was on video, and went on the run.
According to police, while on the run from New Orleans, Brown shot a police officer during a traffic stop in Erin, Tennessee. Erin Police Chief Mark Moore said while his department and his injured officer got justice with Brown's life sentence, he is saddened that Brown died before being prosecuted for his crimes in New Orleans.
I vowed to my citizens that during the manhunt that we wouldn't rest until he was located and prosecuted and justice served, whether it be by a jury or Jesus, and I guess both of them happened in quick time.
Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams said he wanted Brown back in New Orleans.
Although he was convicted of a crime elsewhere, I wanted to get him back here in Orleans Parish for us to do what we could for Mrs. Jones' family and her 3 kids.
Tennessee prison officials released few details about Brown's death. They confirmed he died on Sunday and that there were no signs of foul play.
I'm just learning the fate of him this morning. I'm not sure of the details of that, as it's an ongoing investigation.
The Lord saw fit to take him away sooner, and that is one brand of justice. But I really was looking forward to getting back in our jurisdiction.
A medical examiner is now expected to determine Brown's cause of death. Paul Murphy, WWL, Louisiana.
We were unable to get a statement from the warden at Northeast Tennessee Correctional Complex where B.J. Brown was serving time.
By the time B.J. Brown fled that parking lot on Iberville Street, Cassandra Jones was gone. She had been knocked to the ground. Her teeth had been knocked out. She had been shot multiple times, including twice in the back as she lay there. A woman who came into that parking lot, simply trying to get to work, left that parking lot in an ambulance she would never come back from. Brown ran, but he did not get far. He crossed state lines, fleeing to Tennessee, likely believing distance would protect him the way he believed he could control Cassandra. It did not. Law enforcement tracked him down, and during his capture, Brown opened fire on a Tennessee officer, adding yet another act of violence to a life that had already been defined by it. He was taken into custody, and the case that had already gripped the country, thanks in large part to that viral footage, now had to face a name and a record that told a very complete story. Because this was not the first time law enforcement had Cassandra and B.J. Brown's names in the same sentence. There were prior 911 calls. There was documented abuse, punching, choking, kicking, sexual assault, financial control, a pattern that had been building for years across an on-again, off-again relationship that Cassandra had tried, more than once, to walk away from. And here's the part of the story that deserves more than just a passing mention. Cassandra filed a restraining order on May 4th, 2022, 53 days before her murder. That piece of paper represented an enormous act of courage. Leaving an abusive relationship, especially one that has involved years of control and fear, is statistically the most dangerous moment for a victim. Experts who study intimate partner violence have said it again and again. The moment a victim tries to leave is the moment the danger peaks. Cassandra knew that risk. She filed anyway. She was trying to save her own life. And the system that was supposed to back her up, the restraining order, the legal process, the protection that piece of paper promised, could not stop a man who had already decided he would not be stopped. This is the conversation we need to be having, not just about Cassandra, but about every woman sitting in a courthouse right now filing paperwork and praying it is enough. A restraining order tells an abuser to stay away. It does not physically stop them. And for women, particularly black women, the gap between legal protection on paper and actual safety in real life is a gap that has cost far too many people their lives. Black women in the United States are disproportionately affected by intimate partner homicide. That is not an opinion. That is documented, research fact. And yet the stories of black women like Cassandra Jones too often do not receive the sustained attention, the national outrage, or the systemic reckoning that their cases deserve. The video of Cassandra's murder spread across social media rapidly. For some, it was a wake-up call, a confrontation with the brutal reality of domestic violence that statistics alone cannot deliver. For others, it raised a harder question. Should a woman's worst moment, the final moment of her life, be what it takes to make the world pay attention? Cassandra deserved better than to be known through that footage. She deserved to be known the way the people who loved her knew her, as a woman who went to work every day, as a mother, as a grandmother, as someone described by those closest to her as independent, outgoing, and full of warmth. That was Cassandra Jones, a full, real, irreplaceable human being, not just a case number, not just a viral video. Her death is not just a tragedy. It is an indictment of every gap in the system that was supposed to protect her. So as we close out today, I need you to do something. Share this video, not for the algorithm, not for the numbers. Share it because Cassandra's name deserves to be spoken, and her story deserves to reach every person who might need to hear it, whether that is someone in a dangerous relationship right now, or someone who loves a person who is. Like this video. Subscribe if you are new here. And tell me in the comments, what do you think needs to change so that the next woman who files a restraining order actually makes it home? Cassandra Jones was 48 years old. She was a mother. She was a grandmother. She went to work every morning. She deserved to keep doing that. Say her name.